Well, I've failed, and it's awesome. Doesn't feel awesome, and my brain doesn't think it's awesome, but I know that it's awesome that I failed for several reasons, and we'll talk about that for a couple minutes. So, if you followed me for any period of time, you know that I'm obsessed with my weight. I'm obsessed with my weight to keep me at a certain level. Now, I came to Washington, D.C., 135 pounds, living in my truck, 130, 135 pounds, something like that, and struggled to get over 150 pounds by the time when I was 30. After that, the weight packed on and I went up to 180. Got fit when I was about 40 and have been pretty fit ever since. But in my 40s, I was lifting pretty regularly and building really good muscle. So I was trim and toned, and my clothes, especially my Hugo Boss shirts that I bought in Europe, all fit really well. I couldn't put on a Hugo Boss shirt now if I tried. So I've hovered around 170, 172 for the last decade and a half, except for maybe the Marine Corps Marathon when I went down to about 164 for a day after a marathon. So I've been working on, so 170 is a good weight for me. I got 32-inch waist. My pants are a little tighter. And since COVID, thank you, Costco, for stretch jeans. But I've always wanted to, since I don't lift weights the way I used to, because I'm 60 years old, because my body has changed, 170 is not a good weight for me. I eat fairly healthy. I eat healthier than most people, but I haven't been able to drop down to 165, 160 pounds, where I think is the right weight for a guy who's 5'7" and 60 years old. And lo and behold, this year I made a couple of goals for myself. One of the goals was to be 160 pounds by June. And that was earlier in the year. I didn't make it. In fact, I was still 170 something pounds. And to have my business hit $500,000 in recurring revenue. And so I hit that goal, but I couldn't hit my weight goal. Fast forward to June, I start thinking about this, June and July, and I said, what do I want? What do I want for my business? What do I want for my life? What do I want for my relationship? And I started putting down goals. One of the goals I put down is I want to be 160 pounds. I put that down again. And the other goal was to build my business to over $1 million a year. What I know is when I do tens, when I focus on very few things, they happen. So my spiritual life is great. My relationship is good. My children are good. I'm a happy guy. And I just really want to see what I can do with my business. So we're building the Rising Leader program. I'm writing the new Rising Leader handbook. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that goal in the next year to bring this business to $1 million. But the 160 pounds, that has vexed me for so long. And not because the vanity, although I am vain, I'm fine at 170 pounds. Nobody would ever say that I'm overweight. But for me, it was just driving me crazy that I say it's a 10 and it's not a 10. I say it's a commitment and I don't keep my commitment. It's good enough. I'm good enough. I get to 168. It's good enough. And it's not. I'm not keeping my word to myself, and I'm not able to do the thing I'm setting out to do. And if I want to make the $1 million, if I want to have any accomplishments, I have to learn to keep my word to myself. And where there's a place there I'm not, it's leaky. So this 160-pound things has been vexing me for a while. And then my doctor last month said to me, I need to lose 10 pounds. I'm like, dude, why, you can't even see me. We do this over Zoom. How do you know I need to lose 10 pounds? And he said that I have some inflammation around my heart and my bad cholesterol is really high. And he says, instead of telling me to change my diet and do this and do that, he says, lose 10 pounds and it'll probably handle the situation. So that was confirmation that that's probably a good thing for me to do. So I had this plan that I was going to go on juice cleanses and this Prolon box of cardboard food, and I was going to do everything I can to get to 160 pounds. God laughs when that happens. I started watching my portions. I started drinking a shake for breakfast and a shake for lunch and watching my portions. But my brother died. And we're going to do a podcast on that also. My brother died a few weeks ago. So the stress of dealing with the grief and dealing with his estate and his restaurant and all the things that I needed to take care of was a lot. But I didn't want to fall off the wagon. I didn't want life to dictate how I treat myself. So I made a commitment to myself to keep my portions reasonable and small, not to where I'm starving, but where I'm a little uncomfortable, maybe a little bit hungry, and drink a shake for breakfast. And the weight started coming off. And the weight's been coming off. And as of today, and I decided I wanted to be 160 pounds when I left for Nashville. Here's a little secret: don't tell him, but I'm going to spend a day with Kevin Harrington. If you know Kevin Harrington, I think he's the inventor of the infomercial. He was one of the original sharks on Shark Tank, and he's 67 years old, and the man is ripped. He is in such good shape. He's just a shiny penny, and I'm going to spend a day in a room with him. So I made this petty little deal with myself that there was no way I was going to feel overweight in a room with Kevin Harrington. Again, don't tell him, because I'm going to see him tomorrow and I don't want him to know that I'm that vain. But I decided I'm going to be, if I'm 160 pounds walking into that room, I'll feel really good in my clothes and be able to have a conversation without thinking about that. So tomorrow is the day. And today I'm 164 and a half. Holy moly, the weight has been dropping off and I'm not killing myself. I'm being kind to myself. I'm being gentle to myself. That's the win. The failure is I'm not 160 pounds. The win is I've never been kind to myself when it comes to weight, eating programs, and watching that. I've never done that. I talk to people about being kind to themselves, but we all know it's easier to know that that's the thing we should do than to do it with ourselves. And again, since it's been a source of contention for myself that I'm not keeping my word to myself, that I'm a coach, I do hard things, and this one thing I can't seem to do. So as the weight's dropping off, what I notice is I am wearing pants today that I bought a couple of years ago and I've never been able to wear. I bought them without trying them on. They've been in my closet. I keep trying to put them on. Even on juice cleanses, I haven't been able to put them on. And I put them on today and they're comfortable. I'm going to be comfortable in my clothes going to Nashville, and it's great. I even found a couple of abs in the shower today. So I feel really good. It's going in the right direction. We're being kind to ourselves. But here's a couple of things that I've learned, or maybe only one. I talk all the time about process over the goal itself. So we have when I coach salespeople, we don't have control over whether the sale is going to close or not. We have control over how many phone calls we make, not even how many people pick up the phone. We have control over the follow up we do. We have control over the skill level that we have, but we don't have control over the goal. We have control over the process and who we are in the process. So I preach that all day, every day. And when it comes to weight, I have not practiced that myself, except for this time. This time, I've really committed to each day watching what I eat, eating sane. I eat full dinners. I'm having hearty lunches, but I'm not eating what I used to do. So portion control is, I think, the thing. Like, it's calorie deficit and it's portion control, and I can't stand that it's that simple. So I failed, but I didn't really fail because I feel and look the way I wanted to look at 160. I was kind to myself. I watched the process. I watched my steps. I watched my practice every day and let the results take care of itself. And they've done that amazingly. So I'm curious, what in your life are you trying to force? What are you trying to write a book? And you're trying to write the book instead of write every day? Are you trying to lose weight like me and trying to get to a goal instead of watch what you're doing every single day? How can you take what I'm learning with this weight journey and apply it to you? Don't take my vanity. That's an unhealthy part of me. But what can you take from this journey that I'm going on? Uh, hope this was interesting to you. It was interesting. It's really fascinating to me because this has really been one of the hardest pieces for me, is these last 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds to get to where, again, my stated goal, my 10. Uh, I love you a ton. I'm here for you. Have a great rest of the day.